What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode 3 of Cornerstone Conversations. I am joined today by Jessica Farrell and, back by popular demand, Patrick De Lorenzo. Pause for a second. If you are watching this episode and you did not watch episode 2 with Patrick De Lorenzo, stop right now. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Go watch Patrick, because then this will make a lot more sense, and then come back and pick up where we left off. So I'm going to give it a couple of seconds. 5, 4, 3. Okay. Hopefully you went back and watched Patrick's, and now you are now caught up. Jessica, Patrick, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Of
Absolutely.
course. Well, Jessica, thank you for being flexible with you got a cool office set up right there. I feel like, very tropical. So you're out on in the Midwest, credit out in Arizona?
Yes, out in Arizona.
Okay. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself. What did you kind of do before coming to the Cornerstone Group, and how did you end up in insurance sales?
So I've been around the insurance industry for a while. I used to actually work property and casualty about 10 years ago. And then I broke my wrist and I was looking for something that wasn't so demanding on the computer all the time. And I ended up going to check out at the time a different insurance company. And I just didn't feel super aligned with it while I was there. But I met somebody and he did some work with federal student loan debt. And
Okay.
that's how I kind of got into what I do now. It was about 7 years ago. And he went to the insurance meeting to be able to get referral partners. That's really kind of where it started. Most of my clients came originally from some sort of a financial professional or mortgage broker. And I started working for him. And over the course of about 5 to 6 years, I took over the company and was supposed to buy it from him. And things didn't work out. He didn't want to actually do the hard work to make the sale happen. And in March of 2025, I left that company and started up my own service, labeled as Falcor Financial, helping people with federal student loan debt. And so with that, when people get forgiven for federal student loans, often they have a tax liability from Uncle Sam. And I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be able to make sure that my customers were prepared for that. It's not something the Department of Education makes super crystal clear. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had gotten my life insurance license along the journey, just so I could talk to the other agents about the clients that they sent me, and say, hey, they've got this tax liability. How can we get the client prepared for the future? Right. And at this point, I am providing that service myself to individuals who I don't have an agent matched to. If they get referred to me and they have federal student loan debt, well, do you have somebody who helps you out with things like life insurance and retirement and mortgage protection, saving for long-term, needs? No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I can put my license to use. Right. And so I went and found an insurance company that my son was actually working with, and I tried to do this. I tried to create
Mm-hmm.
this funnel, right? Move the customers from the one service to a solution for another need that they had, and it just wasn't working. The other company that I was at was primarily pushing for IUL sales and recruiting, as opposed to teaching me how to be a good agent. I just really wanted to be a good agent who could provide real solutions to people, whatever they needed, and not just be focused in on one particular product. And coming here to Equus, I found a home. I found a whole different way that business could be run. The training was fantastic. Chris Bittinger is my upline, and he was actually the
Mm-hmm.
person who introduced me to go watch the Debt Free for Life videos on our training center, and just said, it really kind of aligns with what you're doing. And, you're already helping people with one kind of debt. Why not see if we can really be a solution for other debt issues that they might be having? And, and that was just an eye-opening experience here to have a different way to do things.
That's phenomenal. You gave a great commercial right there about the struggles of some insurance agents outside of the Equus IMO world and what they're struggling with. And I don't feel like a lot of times, Jessica, they have that life raft thrown to them, like, hey, there's better out there. So you said that perfectly, and I love your experience with that. So talk about how you got partnered with Chris and how you came over to Equus in the Cornerstone Group. How did that kind of happen? How did you find Chris?
Absolutely. So Audric Barron Davis is also an agent here, and he's one of my
Hmm.
son's friends. And he really wanted my son to leave the IMO he was at and to come over here. And I was already convinced because I found exactly the type of training that I was looking for that was going to teach me to be a good agent. And there was no pressure here. I felt really at home. And so we had to convince my son. He had a little bit of loyalty to the people that really taught him in his beginning journey. He's been in the industry since he's 18 and he's 27 today, or well, this week. And so, it took him a little bit to move over with us. But once he did, Chris Bittinger was Audric's friend, and that's how he got in with the
That's
business.
awesome.
And once I got connected with Chris, I mean, Chris is phenomenal. He gave me all of the resources that I needed to be able to get plugged in and connected with the entire company. He kind of felt that I might be really good to talk to people about some advanced market stuff. We kind of investigated some of those retirement solutions. I said basically what I need as an agent to accomplish my goals is I need to know who I can refer clients to so that I can give them the best experience and opportunity, because there are people who've been in this business way longer than I have.
Hmm.
And I just knew that if I could get connected with the right people, that I have enough knowledge of this industry. I just need a little bit of help getting to the finish line and making sure that I'm doing the best thing and the right thing by my clients and my family and my friends too, because we help people all over the place. And
Exactly.
so with that, Chris, he texted me. He texted me Patrick's contact information, which he had detailed out with like everything that he does. So it made it really easy for me to know what he's a specialist in. Um,
Hmm.
and from there, I reached out to Patrick to introduce myself, and we got started about 60 days ago, and we've had a pretty good run since then.
Wow, phenomenal. So that's someone that we're definitely going to highlight on in a little bit. So I'm going to make note of that. So 60 days ago, this marriage had started, and what you said, Jessica, is what we highlighted a lot on last week. Is that there's the great thing about this industry is that you're never going to stop learning something. You're always going to continue learning something new every day, whether it's product change, new laws, anything like that. And it can be a little bit overwhelming, especially for a new agent, especially coming in. So, talk about how being set up with Patrick has kind of given you that confidence to talk to your warm market or to your existing clientele.
Working with Patrick, I've seen the way that he talks to people that I introduce to him. The way that he does business is confidence enough, never mind the amount of experience that he has in the business. Like, it's impossible almost to learn everything and every policy and the ins and outs of every single thing. It's way too much to memorize, but here we do have the in-home concierge, the Cornerstone
Hmm.
Group Me, which is fantastic. I've learned a lot just watching other people ask questions, to help with underwriting. We have the Integrity Connect, which is fantastic to simplify the underwriting, to be able to go in and really narrow it down if you're unsure about like what and how to help a client being brand new.
Exactly.
But what I found to be the most helpful is I have all the information about the person. Patrick doesn't have any of it until I provide it to him. And so,
Hmm.
information is key. And if I just let my client talk, if I just let my family or friend talk, and I just kind of figure out what their needs are, then the more information that I can provide to somebody who does have more experience, who has been around more policy, has helped more families than I have in this industry, I'm able to give him what he needs to get the right thing to the customer, right? And so
Yeah.
it might be a need for savings. It might be that I know that they've got a 401k and it's losing money and it's a complaint that they have. And everything is little alligator bites when you're helping a customer. You don't necessarily have to like go in for the kill and tackle everything all at once. And I think that's
Hmm.
something that Patrick is really good at just naturally. It's not even something we've had to have a conversation about. It's going in and taking care of like the immediate need, like stop the bleeding or fix the problem. And then from there, investigating just a little bit further on how we can improve their situation or position even more.
I agree. You're spot on with that. We're kind of like doctors. We're in the solution business. You come in to us with a tummy ache, we're going to tell you the best thing to do. This salute, get that fixed, get that taken care of. And I like what you said. It's a little bit at a time. You don't want to throw up all over them, but sit back, listen to them. They're going to tell you what their needs are and what their problems are by asking a lot of questions and you providing the solution. And before we got started, hey, look, you know what? A lot of people might not need our solutions, but to have the opportunity to know that, hey, these solutions are out there for you. It's just, are you willing to take that risk and have that conversation with Patrick? So let's kind of bring Patrick in here, and I just want to kind of review some numbers. So last 60 days, which is phenomenal. So 13 total apps, and Patrick, correct me if this is submit or paid. So two annuities for over so around 106,000 and 11 life applications through the Debt Free for Life program, just a little over 22,000. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's total submitted. For people who are here at Equus, just guys, that is uncapped as well. I'm not a huge fan of APV, but that's how we keep track of things. So I wanted the true uncapped numbers just to kind of give an accurate picture. But yeah, you're 100% correct.
I appreciate that. So really neat to see that. So Jessica, someone listening to this now up until this point, obviously you've been around not the insurance industry probably a long time, but you found something where you're able to help clients with their student loans. So let's stop and talk to a newer agent who is coming in. They want to be able to make a difference into people's lives. They might not have any money for leads, but they can go out and have conversations with people. What's something that they can say to those family members, and what's something that how you tee up Patrick in that sense to have that conversation with them?
I think it's really important to realize that for the most part, we live in a debt-based society, and that's what makes this like brilliant, right? And the debt is the problem that keeps people from being able to afford life insurance or saving for retirement. So it's just like this big
Mm-hmm.
circle of an issue. And so, first and foremost, when you're in conversation with people around you, friends and family, people often like to complain about debt, right? It just is, man, I had to pay my car payment today. This credit cards are driving me crazy. So like when you hear people are in that mindset, that's a really good opening to have a conversation and just, oh, you've got some debt that you're dealing with. Okay. Now that you know that they have the debt going on, the phrasing that Patrick and Chris both gave me was really, really easy. And it's just like that idea of like, keep it simple, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so if somebody tells me, I've got this mortgage and I've got, a high interest rate and it just feels like I'm never going to pay it off. And, oh, okay, well, if I could show you a way to pay that mortgage and any of your other debts off in half the time or less without any kind of debt consolidation and without any refinancing, would you be opposed to hearing the math on that? Right. And from that point forward, like if you say I'd be opposed to hearing the math, you're kind of asking to be in debt and to keep your problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of a way that like who wouldn't say they'd like to see the math on that. Now we can't make them take the solution, right? There's no world in
Right.
which we can make them take the solution, but there are going to be those people who are just automatically open to it, and those people who maybe need some time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Likely the problem isn't going away. And so the way I look at it with Patrick when I refer somebody over is, if they don't understand it and they don't see the value in it the first time, we'll get them next time, coach, because that debt has been a problem for a while and it's probably not going to go anywhere without some sort of outside solution, right?
Exactly.
the beauty of this is that we can catch people before they get to a point of having to do something negative, like a debt
Hmm.
consolidation that maybe ruins their credit, right?
Yeah.
So it's a high point that we can talk to. So if they say that they are open to seeing the math, right? We've created just a really simple back and forth between Patrick and I. I send him a group text. If the person is married, it's so very important to both have the husband and the wife or the spouses on together. Number one, because it just doesn't it's not, you can't have the conversation legally in some places if you don't have both marital partners on and their names are on both the debts. But number two, the
Yeah.
likelihood of them staying committed is less. The likelihood
Hmm.
even to the appointment is less if they're not like in the problem and in the solution together, right? So I put them into a group text with Patrick, and I just keep it really simple. And I say, "Hey, Amy and Rob, this is Jessica. I just wanted to let you know that I'm putting my partner, Patrick DiLorenzo, into this group text with us. He will reach out to you today for a brief introduction by phone. And after that, we'll get you scheduled for a Zoom so we can take a look at the math." And then as soon as I send that text off in the group text, I send Patrick an individual text. And initially, what he told me that he needed to be effective was the name, their marital status, what state they were in, and how I knew them. And that's great. I can absolutely do that. But if I do know more about the customer's situation or like what their needs are or what they might have that might help us accomplish their goals, I'll put that in as well. That way is, he's just got a little bit more meat and potatoes into the phone call rather than just calling and being like, hey, my name's Patrick.
Yeah.
You've got some debt. I just try to equip him with as much information as I can. I'd kind of rather overkill it. It's a text. Like I'd rather overkill it than not give them enough.
You're making Patrick's over there, glowing. He's saying hallelujah. I'm over here like I'm doing a terrible job because he'll text me privately and it's like, hey man, what's this, and this? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I just get so excited. But Jessica, whether you're a sport fan or not, we just had the Super Bowl, but recently, so we watched the Super Bowl. Everyone watched it, just probably for the commercials and for Bad Bunny and everything like that. But what you perfectly did was you were the quarterback, you handed off to Patrick, and he ran into the end zone. And I mean, that's just the perfect play of, just passing off. Just and like you said, just keep it, simple. Don't overcomplicate it or anything like that. Now, if you have someone who, has a rebuttal, is unsure about the math, or like, can you just tell me a little bit about it now so I don't have to set up a time with this Patrick dude, whoever he is? What do you kind of say to them in that regards?
I mean, generally speaking, I feel that if they're pushing back against me too hard, they might not yet be in the right mental place to let go of the debt. There is a mentalness
Yeah,
to debt and to money. And I'm not going to chase anybody for this. Okay, there are
I
a
love
lot
that.
of people that need help. And so I don't push anybody. I will circle back around to somebody if I know that their need is great, right? For instance, I have a customer that has a $700,000 student loan.
Wow.
Okay. And when it gets forgiven, it's going to grow, rule of 72 and all that jazz, right? It's going to grow
Yeah.
over time, right? He's going to end up with like I think it's Patrick, over $400,000 without looking at my notes, $400,000 tax liability at some point in the future. And that's a huge amount of money to save up for, right? And that
Yeah.
doesn't include him needing a retirement account or anything like that. And I think sometimes the debt is just so overwhelming to the person, they're not really ready to settle into a solution. But a person like that I know really needs it, I'm going to circle back around to them and I say, hey, I tried to show you the math on a solution for your problem, but now like we really need to sit down and figure out how we're going to come up with a solution for this problem, right? So this is no longer like lightly, hey, let's look at the math. This is like there is a trajectory that we're on. You are going to owe the IRS X amount of dollars at this point in the future. And they don't have plans to help you lower your payment the same way that the Department of Education does. They can see
Right.
things, right? So this is like really important. And I'll put a little bit more pressure on them. I mean, after that, if I've put a little pressure on them and I've recircled them back to Patrick and they're still not biting, then they want to hold on to their problem. And eventually they at least know that this solution exists. There is something out there that could help. There's something out there that could help that doesn't make them debt consolidate and doesn't make them refinance. So they will come back to me. The fish will circle back around if it's going to
You're
become,
right.
and they'll jump in the boat. When it's important to them, they'll jump in the boat. But right now, all I can do is give them an opportunity. I can edify Patrick. I build really good relationships with people. And so if somebody's known me for a good amount of time, and I say to them, I'm putting you with the best. I want you to get the best experience and the best solution. And that is Patrick. They're going to listen to what I say because they've already built trust and respect and a working relationship or a friendly relationship with me over a period of time. So my word carries some sort of value to them.
That's very true. It's always important to have that good relationship with them as the person that's helping them, because they're going to take your word for it. We are the lifeline, and they're trusting you on your word and that relationship that you build with them. Like, hey, Patrick is the guy to do that. Patrick, now over to you. What is some things that Jessica has done, or what are some things that people can take away being on the receiving end? And once you get what's the process like once she takes that handoff and gives it to you? What that happens then? I know Jessica has covered that a little bit, but I want to make sure you get involved. Where do you come into that point after she makes that handoff?
So first off, here two things real quick. One, if you haven't already and you're watching this, go ahead and hit the like, hit the comment, hit the subscribe button for this podcast. Because also make sure you turn on your notifications. So let's make sure we do that. That's first thing.
Yep.
There's the commercial aside. In having been in this industry for almost 2 decades now, Jessica has made this so easy for me. Thank you to her. So just once they come to me, the process is really simple. I send the same message every time. Happy to help. Jane and John Doe, this is Patrick DiLorenzo. Do either of you have 2 to 3 minutes so that I can introduce myself? And that's it. They're either going to respond, they're not going to respond. The fun thing about text, I can see when they read it. But I mean, that's it. If I get something back, oh yeah, we definitely want to talk to you. The soonest either of us is going to have our phones on us is, the latter half of 6 months from now on a Thursday between 7 and 7:03. That's where I just have to nicely go, okay, they're giving me soft signals that we're not actually going to talk. But most of the time it's yeah, sure. And one of them responds and, hey, I got a couple minutes. And when I get on the phone, it's just a really simple, hey, just wanted to introduce myself, make sure your voice to go with the name. My appointments are via Zoom. You don't have to worry about a strange person showing up at your house, but what day is best for the two of you? We need about an hour. And then we schedule something. And I kind of keep it simple. It's, hey, we're going to do, we need to get this done within the next couple of weeks, because you got to be proactive. I know you got a bunch going on. You're married. You guys probably have kids. Oh yeah, we got kids. All right. You're both working. Yeah, we work. All right. So rather than try to figure out how to carve time out like months from now, let's find some time in the next 2 weeks. I will run appointments at crazy hours. I don't care. But my thought is let's just hold the appointment and just, if I could just brag on Jessica for a moment, when she speaks to people, I've gotten a lot of referrals over the years from a lot of different agents. What she is saying, she is absolutely, it's incredible, John. Every single time I know the name, including the last name of who I'm talking to. I know the name of the spouse, which is phenomenal. I know where they live. And I know that sounds silly, but I will get referrals that I don't even have a full name or what's mm-hmm. And then the problem is I'll message them at 8 in the morning and oh, they're on the Pacific Coast. It's 5 a.m. Okay, whoops. But I didn't know, and I don't always get told. So she has just made this such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful process that I've told my wife, I'm like, if Jessica rings my phone or texts me, I'm going to stop what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, short of like a date or something like that, I'm taking that call.
Yeah. You're not rolling your eyes. And the best thing that as a referring specialist, and Jessica, you can agree or disagree with me in referring business to Patrick, is that when he makes that initial text or phone conversation with them, I don't want my client to be like, who's this person reaching out to me and why are they reaching out to me? I don't have any recollection of this. So it's so important to get them excited, give them enough information to go down the rabbit trail to get to Patrick, but to know like, hey, when Patrick reaches out, which is he usually does pretty quickly, like I don't want them to be like, well, who's this person or anything of that nature. Do you kind of agree with that?
Oh, for sure. And Patrick is so consistent with his messages. So because of that, I know exactly what his next step is, which is really nice in the communication. It's just like a back and forth. We don't even really have to talk. It literally we can do it through text. We choose to have little meetings here and there between the two of us just to kind of, run through the list and just make sure that we're in communication and that our notes match up on where we are in the process with certain people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, his consistency of communication is fantastic. And let me tell you how amazing this man is as far as working with me. And this has given me like a huge amount of faith, especially when I'm working with customers who I have a reputation with and family members who I care about. I
Yeah.
have, I'm in Arizona, right? And he's on the East Coast. And so we've got a time difference, right? I work all over the country. So I've got clients that are in Hawaii. I've got clients that are in California. It just so worked out that like my client could not meet until like 9 p.m. at night. And I think he was in California. And Patrick was at his office working for me, for my client at midnight, his time, at midnight, taking the call. And that's fantastic. And, he went to a family trip. He went to Norway, which is, we had a little share over that. I've got family that lives there, and he's
Oh, that's awesome.
completely across the globe. We're in completely different time zones. And I was watching him because I'm in the group text. So I see when he's communicating with my customers. That's the benefit of the group text, for a new agent getting started, is if you want to know what's going on and you don't want to have to bother Patrick, put it in the group text, and then you're going to see every message that he sends to your customer and be able to follow along with the journey. And I watched him traveling on his way to enjoy a beautiful, well-earned vacation with his family. And he was still taking
Yeah.
care of my customers along the way. And there's no words for that kind of relationship that is to have with a business partner. It's absolutely fantastic.
It is for sure. And being in the know, it's like it gives you just a little bit more confidence, no matter if you're new or seasoned, just to know where your client, who you build a strong reputation with and relationship with, are in the process. And Patrick does a phenomenal job of keeping you in the loop of, hey, this is where your client is on this. This is what we have to do. Hey, payday, it should be coming through. There's so many texts. Like today, I sent Patrick a text of a question I didn't even know. He's so quick to be able to respond. And that's a partner that you want to be able to work with. And, talking about your client, if it's important to, and I laugh at this, Jessica, if people say that they don't have time to do something, I say that's a lie because I've written an application at 3 a.m. before because a guy worked second shift and he got off late. I woke up, rubbed my eyes, did the application, I couldn't go back to sleep because I was so excited because I wrote it out and then I went back to sleep. So don't tell me that you don't have time to sit down if it's really important to you because we'll meet with you at your beck and call, whatever it is. Now, with this one, Patrick was just a time difference, but still, it works out.
Absolutely. No, it totally does. And like I said, some people, it's just their mentality, their mindset just isn't there yet. And maybe they just need to hear about it a couple of times. I'm not going to give up on those people. I'm just not going to push them over the cliff. They've got to jump. It's got to be something that they want. And I want to just follow up on what we were saying, in this relationship too, it takes responsibility on my side to also help Patrick be effective in getting me paid. Right. So,
Mm-hmm.
there's been companies that I needed to do product specialty training on, right? Or needed to do some sort of continued education, take some sort of little class, and they're all very quick and easy. But it's necessary for our carriers. It's necessary for me to get paid. And so, I have the responsibility of being just as responsive to the needs of Patrick as he is to the needs of myself, and sending somebody over and having that communication back and forth. So if I need to do something to accomplish us closing a deal, Patrick will send it over to me with literal screenshots, like, do this, you need to go here.
It's phenomenal what he does on that.
It's so helpful, especially for somebody new getting started. It is. I'm so grateful. There's been days where he said I needed to do a class, and I looked and there was 6 that needed to be done. I've done all 6 in the day because they're quick and they're easy, but it's going to come along anyways. So while I'm in here, might as well just get them done. I'll be more prepared for the next time that we, run into the need for that product for this client. And I love the fact that I have to do that often, because that means that Patrick really is looking at all of the options with all of the carriers that we have to find the very best solution for the client. And if that means I have to do a little bit more work to get us there, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get us there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And Patrick does a phenomenal job. And I'll speak on my end. Patrick does a phenomenal job. We had a case and they had an oopsie daisy at the carrier. And he was like, why do we have to wait X amount of business days for this to go through when the client literally has the check in an envelope and is at the mailbox ready to send it in? And they found it and they fixed the mistake and they reversed it. So you're definitely right. You want to be able to get paid quickly, but you're doing in that partnership with Patrick. He's doing a lot of work too, and you want him to get paid as well. Um, Patrick, any questions before I ask Jessica? Maybe my last few couple of questions that you want to ask her? Or?
Yeah, so first off, I did just one clarification. I did not bring my whole family to Norway. I took my wife, my kid here, and that was deliberate. That was not a financial choice. That was a sanity choice. So let me just offer that one little thing. I don't always handle like the accolade stuff well, so I'll throw in humor to kind of cope on my own spot. Thank you guys for your kind words. So Jessica, I don't. One of the things I want to compliment you on is I have never had any of your referrals, even the ones that are like, yeah, we're not ready to start talking yet. Okay, fine, I can accept that. I've never had one of them that hasn't known who I am, why I'm calling, what the reason I was calling, why you're connecting me to that person. I have never had that with any of the ones you have sent so far. Quite the opposite. And like one of the things that I think you do incredibly well, and I think this is just who you are as a person, correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to have like an ability to connect with whoever the heck you're working with, whether it's friends, whether it's family members, whether it's your clients. You seem that seems to be just, I don't know if it just comes naturally to you or if you have to work on that, but kind of, if I'm a new agent watching this, that's something that I would want to emulate. So kind of tell us a little bit about how you're able to just almost so effortlessly make that kind of stuff happen. How do you do that?
I am a mom first, and I've been a small business owner for a really long time because I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That was super important to me. And now my kids are 21 and 27. So I accomplished that goal, but I don't want to go out and work in a cubicle now if I can work from home. Right. And so with that, I always had to work for my dollar because I earned it being self-employed. For 20 years, I ran a business that was as you wish, professional and personal and virtual assistants. So long before iPhones had apps, I helped small businesses, and I created LLCs and built websites and helped with search engine modifications and social media and all of those kind of things. Also, I helped people who struggled in their house, maybe create a filing system, literally maybe check their mail. There are so many things in the world that people need help with. right? And it might be that they have like a focus issue. There's some people that just do better if they have a body double, just like literally somebody in the room with them while they're getting something done, folding laundry, right? They'll just avoid it. But if you're just standing in the room with them, they'll do it. And being a personal assistant for 20 plus years, and being a mom by nature, I'm a solution finder, I'm a fixer, I'm a helper. That's just where my natural stasis is. And what I found really healthy in life was to not try to just do that with my friends. It doesn't always work out when you're just trying to like fix your friends' problems, right? It can almost make you like the highlighted kill the messenger enemy. And I didn't want that. And so I, turned it into a business. I turned it into something that could get me paid. And I talked to people and I became a safe place and a sounding board for people to tell me their problems. That resulted in me helping raise like 17 children that aren't mine. And I love them all, my chosen kids. And it created me, starting a business, helping other small business owners. And if I care along the way, then I keep those connections and I can always circle back around to those people. It's like I don't have a huge family, but I have a lot of people that I care about in my circle, whether I met them through previous endeavors, a kid's parent, somebody I met through a school or an event. But I'm a super connector. I like to help. I like to fix things. And if I know a solution, I literally can't keep my mouth shut about it. So I'm going to talk your ear off about it. Eventually something is going to hit and you're going to find a way that I can help you.
No question. That is a skill that seems to come so easy to you. I'm actually very envious of that skill because that's something I feel like I had to work my tail off on, and I'm nowhere near as successful at that as you are. So that's one of those things that you do that I'm absolutely in awe of, and just kudos to you that you can do that.
Thank you.
John,
Yes, I agree.
no, I was gonna say, John, you have asked you've asked some great questions, man. I can't top anything you've asked. I'll tell you right now. I can tell you that just if I am a new agent, someone like Jessica is who I'm trying to emulate, and I do not mean refer somebody to Patrick DiLorenzo. That's not where I'm going. I
Right.
mean like her ability to you heard what she said. I'm talking to everybody. If I know that there's a way to fix something, I'm talking about it nonstop. I mean, this is what I think. If I could go back in time to when I got into this industry, that's the stuff I wish I had done more of. That's amazing. If you're a new agent watching this, that's what you need to do, what she just said.
Exactly. Patrick, real quick, let me ask you a tailored question to yourself. We might have highlighted on last week, but the great thing about the referral program is that Jessica can continue referring the business over to you for as long as she wants to. Same on my behalf. But what's awesome about the referral program is that you can refer business over to you and learn from you, and I'm meaning you, Patrick, to be able to do it yourself. So if Jessica ever wants to, no, I'm kidding. Wants to take it over on her own if she so choose, how beneficial is that to be able to refer that business and still be able to learn from you? It's not just, oh, I have to refer everything over to Patrick. I can learn this too to be able to run it effectively on my own.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's 350 million people in this country. And here's the reality. I can't work with all of them. I could try and I could go round the clock 24/7. I wouldn't even get close. There's a lot of people out there, and yes, a rising tide raises all ships. But yeah, absolutely. I am a huge believer of that. I'd love to see other people step up because that's also going to it's going to push me to continue to elevate my game. That would be incredible. Jessica would be a great one if that's something she wants to do. I'd say she has the ability. Yeah, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because talking about where Jessica's strengths are, her ability to make referrals. That's step one. I had one came to me the other week. The agent had never met with the person. I had the name of the guy. Did not have spouse name. Did not That was literally all I had. I had the name and the phone number, and the agent had never met with the person, had no connection to him. Agent had tried to schedule, and the person had refused, politely declined, whatever word you want to use. And then it was funny. It's like, well, can you see if you can get them scheduled? I could try, but they don't know me either, so there's no real reason they're going to do it. And
Yeah.
well, of course, I sent off my message because I'm going to give the effort. But then the next thing out of the agent's mouth is, "All right, and can I sit in on the appointment?" Let's see if we can get the guy to even answer the phone first. And sure enough, the guy never answered the phone. So where I'm going with this is for someone else who's wanting to do that, the skill set, there's a progress. The Olympics are on right now. And if you're watching the Olympics, you have got people that are using snowboards and skis and ice skates, and they're doing like jumps and flips and like all these other crazy things that I can't do. But if I'm brand new, I'm not doing that first. I'm first learning how to put on my skis and go down like the bunny slope. I'm not going
Yep.
down double X, black diamond that's, you're doing 115 miles an hour on. Not because I'm an idiot or anything like that, but just my skill set's not there. I have to be able to do the bunny slope first. And if I'm a brand new agent, there are tremendous paths here at Cornerstone that you can use and take advantage of. But you've got to be able to master the skills to get to that point. We call it advanced markets because it's not the 100 level class, and that's okay. But just like anyone who's ever gotten a degree, you don't do the 400 level courses first and then go take the 100 levels on the back end. You got to be able to do the 100 level courses in order to have the knowledge base for the 200, the 300, the 400 level courses. So yes, I'm a huge fan of it. But we got to be able to run appointments. We got to be able to talk to people. We got to be able to have conversations. The other thing I would encourage anyone wanting to go down the path of whether it's working with annuities, advanced market stuff, big IULs, tax-free stuff, $1 million babies, whatever it is, step one is you should be a client. Whether you write it yourself, whether you go to somebody else to get them to design it for you, you should be a client. If you're wanting to do debt elimination and you don't have your own debt elimination plan set up, it makes it hard. If somebody wants to talk about an annuity, I can bust out my own, and it's right here on my desk if they need it. If they want to talk about $1 million baby stuff, big IULs for kids, I've got one with one of my sons and one of my daughters right here within easy arms reach. Same thing with my debt free for life case. I can bust mine out. So knock out those first steps, talk to whoever brought you in here and say, hey, this is an interest I have. If they're handling that stuff, they can help you. If not, come find somebody. If you want to talk to me about the steps you need to go through to get to that stuff, I'm happy to answer those questions. I don't mind doing it all day long because there should be more of us. Because I can tell you right now, I see the Cornerstone numbers every week. We leave so much on the table that the people we work with are still getting taken care of. They're just not doing it through us because we have conversations.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I think Jessica, correct me if I'm wrong on this comment, but being a referring agent is like the introductory class to getting into advanced markets because you start learning a little bit. And if you're intrigued by it, you can then sit in on the appointments with Patrick to learn the advanced course placement and all the knowledge and everything like that. But I think it's a great introductory to learning it. And you're increasing your portfolio to then help more clients, which then comes back and helps you because you could have helped them with a regular life insurance policy with living benefits. But then again, what else could you have helped them with in that home, whether it's 401k, getting out of debt, everything like that? And I'm not saying this in a way it's like, oh, you should do it because you can increase your bank account. Yes, it can happen. We are looking for that because we're in 1099 sales, but it's a way to grow a client for life, and that's what we're willing to do on that.
Here's the way that I look at it is right now, this opportunity is allowing me, like I make a decent 6-figure income from my business, right? But six figures, low six figures does not stretch the same way in this economy that it used to. And I live in Arizona where it's really relatively affordable, not California, New York, Washington, Miami, places that are more expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
I make enough to pay my bills, right? And there's not a lot left over. And you know, I want more for myself. Doing this and doing it the referral way, it's allowing me to buy back some of my time, and it's allowing me to have some freedom and some excess cash to be able to really do something effective with and put forth into something else. It'll allow me to do my own. I have two IULs myself, one for each of my boys. But it's also going to allow me to become a debt-free for client myself, because I've created the funds that I would need to put together a plan for myself. I think number one, watching the videos that Equus has on the training modules is fantastic, because like, how can you refer something at all if you know absolutely nothing about it? Like, you have to at least conceptually have some sort of an idea, and getting comfortable with like the phrasing, right? Like, how would you
Mm-hmm.
tell somebody about it, right? And then referring people over, you're going to see the process and the steps that Patrick takes, right? So you're going to learn the flow of the back and forth. And it's like these little tiny baby steps. It is learning. You are sitting in on the appointment. From that point forward, you just aren't on the Zoom yet, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
don't get to the Zoom unless the Zoom appointment is had. And you don't get the Zoom appointment to be had unless you did the referral well. And you don't know who to refer unless you know what you're looking at as a solution, right? And the way that we're helping people. So I think there's some steps there to learning how to be a good referral partner. And then eventually, if you want to continue learning Patrick's never been like a gatekeeper. He's so willing to share information and be helpful. But do I think that the fact that I've put a lot of effort into our business relationship, our partnership, probably is reflected in that? Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't think that I'd get the same response if I wasn't, doing the same thing back and forth. It's really important to have that open line of communication and to be clear and concise and stay accountable, and be educated before you're putting yourself in there. He just kind of shared with the group over this last week in group me very similar phrases on how to hook individuals into a conversation, to do with tax, saving on taxes, and also for creating $1 million baby plans with the same type of phrasing. Are you opposed to seeing the math? Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just a matter of getting comfortable and knowing what you're referring people over to, and learning the person you're working with and giving them the best tools possible to do the job. And I think that Patrick and I have really fine-tuned that really well together.
You made it
I love.
really easy. You really, really, really easy. But you're also, and John, this is what I'm kind of saying, and I promise I'll shut up. But like, John, if I could, like, let me use you as an example, John. You've got a lovely young bride. You're newlywed still, but I just real quick, was step one asking Taylor to marry you, or was step one when you met her asking her on that first date?
Yeah, asking on the first date.
Right. And before, okay, again, was step one marrying her, or was step one going, hey, I'm John, what's your name? Or something, whatever you said. I'm sure you're probably way
Yeah.
more charismatic than that, but that's that kite bloodline. That's you guys. But, I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but just to make it simple for a brand new agent. If you're having trouble, like, what's the name of the person? I'm not saying you can't do advanced markets. I'm just saying you got to learn that. You got to learn that piece before you're able to do the other stuff.
Yeah, you got to crawl before you're able to run. You can't end up in the finish line. I love this quote of the Olympic runner. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Usain Bolt. I trained 3.5 years to be able to run like 9 seconds or whatever it is. It's a process, and I'm not saying it's that long of a process, but you'll mess up when you refer your first one to Patrick, and then you just continue to learn and get better and better as well. I know when I first started referring business to Patrick, I was probably not the best, but I've gotten better and better as it goes along. And now, Patrick's sending me message. Like, sometimes I don't even have to find the referrals. They get sent to Patrick. It's like, hey, someone's sister twice removed referred business, we got this coming in, congratulations. And I'm like, woo, and I didn't even do anything. So,
It is.
and I love that.
Let me clarify that. Let me just clarify that in case anybody missed it, especially for the new agents. So, and I do believe that you have a record on this that you could share, Patrick, but I think that it's just an incredible opportunity that I could refer my friend Bob right over to Patrick, and during their appointment and during their relationship and getting set up in, we'll say, the Debt Free for Life program, they happen to say, by the way, my brother Jim, he's got way more debt than I do. Can I get him in connection with you because he really needs help? And now I didn't even know that Jim existed, but I'm going to get a message in the group chat from Patrick that tells me that this person was referred, and he is going to split that with me too. And I didn't even know that that person existed. And if that person is, if we've done our job and we have been a solution and we have been clear about how we're trying to help, referrals come out of the woodwork. And so if that person refers, the next person refers the next person, I want to say Chris told me it was something like, I don't know, 15, 16 people or so in a line of succession, Patrick, that you've referred and paid back, split commissions with, for people that they didn't even know that they were going to be helping. Right, just down the line. And that's a moral, ethical high ground in a business partner that I have narrowly ever run into, and it's really incredible. And I'm so grateful and appreciative of that opportunity because partners of Patrick is a partner who can help make you money while you sleep, literally, because we're in different time zones. And that's incredible. Like, to wake up to money, for a referral that you made that you didn't know made a referral. That's fantastic. That puts a big smile on your face.
It's investing
exactly right.
in the people who are investing in you. And that's all it is. I mean, it's just, again, what's the thing I always say? Are you opposed to seeing the math? This is a math thing at the end of the day. And John, I know which one you're talking about. It literally issued today. I don't know if you saw it, but it is now showing as issued. But it was literally, you sent me a referral, 16, 17 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess probably a month ago, I get a phone call. I have no clue who the heck this person is. I was in an appointment, so I didn't answer at the time, but I get a message, and I'm not going to say the client's name, but hey, by the way, you helped blank, and they said I should call you. And sure enough, it's like, we talked, we had a conversation. Was this a huge case? No, but guess what? When that money hits your bank account, I'm sure you're still going to keep it. It's not like you're going to go, oh, screw this, let me send it back.
Yeah, but, exactly.
The fun, at least I hope it's a fun thing when you see a group text. It's like, when I can say, hey, John, do you remember John Doe? By the way, his, what'd you say, cousin 3 times removed, or however you phrased it?
Yeah.
Reached out, asked us to do this. So that's on the way. Because my hope is also, it's not truly completely altruistic. I do have a hope in the back of my mind that you're seeing that and going, oh, wow, that's right. I did refer that person, Patrick. All right, let me see who else I can get. Get a few extra apps in here, just that, at least that's part of what I'm hoping the synergy is.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's definitely incentivizing just to know, because you do such a phenomenal, that your partner's doing well, but you have a great relationship with your client to know, like, hey, my sister 3 times removed, whoever, needs to be able to meet with Patrick. Jessica, you're completely correct. Any closing comments from you guys? Jessica, I'll let you do the first closing comments first, and then with Patrick.
So hint for new agents. And I stole it from Patrick. And so I say that, it's a good thing to do is on your email, because you're going to email people, right? On your email, if you have a calendar link that invites people to a solution like the Debt Free for Life, it's a good way for it to be in front of more people's faces. Use social media, right? Just a real simple text out to people that you think you might be able to. It's volume. The more people that you talk to, the more opportunities that we have to put them into a solution that works and really help individuals, which at the end of the day helps us all get paid and keeps the cycle moving, right? So any way that you can create exposure, and I'm happy to help any new agents that are coming on with setting things up, with role playing, with any way that I can help. I'm super accessible. Please let me know. I'm grateful to Equus, like so very grateful to be here, and so thankful to have this relationship back and forth with Patrick. It's just fantastic. A lot of people are going to benefit from the fact that the two of us know each other, and that's magic. So
You're
yeah.
right. Patrick, any closing comments from you?
Again, if I could encourage a new agent, remember you are a licensed professional. I don't care if this is your first day. I don't care if you haven't run a single appointment yet. You are a licensed professional. And if I could give you like a shot of confidence, change your mindset. Do not approach this from clients or doing you a favor by talking to you. You have the ability to, through this team, because here's the reality. Our numbers as a team, you can use them as your numbers until your numbers are just as big and beautiful. We have helped clients with 8+ figures of debt paid off. We have helped clients with millions upon millions of benefits paid out, living benefits, death benefits. And if someone ever like approaches you from a standpoint of, yeah, I guess I'll hear you out, like they're doing you a favor, don't waste your time on that person, because they're not doing you a favor. You have the ability to make a life-changing scenario for them, not if, but when a crap day happens.
Mm-hmm.
The day that they lose a spouse, which, guys, keep in mind, if you're having a successful marriage ends only in one way: one person dying. That's how a successful marriage ends. Unsuccessful ones end in divorce, but a successful one ends in a death. At the end of the day, every kid should bury at some point their parents. There are some of us that unfortunately have the distinction of having to bury our child. Those are not what ifs. Those are not hypotheticals. If you are married right now, your significant other or you got a 50% chance of you burying them. The other option is they bury you. So stop looking at this as someone's doing you a favor by sitting with you. They're willing to help you out by hearing your because here's the thing. Nobody needs what we do. Nobody needs an insurance policy. Nobody needs nobody wants this. Nobody needs it. You know who really is wanting it to be there? Widows. Because when somebody dies, that's the first question that gets asked. Did mom have life insurance? Did dad have life insurance? What did we have taken out for my significant other, for grandma, for grandpa, whoever the heck it is? That's the first thing people want to know. The funeral company, it's the first thing they ask. Do they have life insurance? Who's it with?
Mm-hmm.
So mindset. You are a licensed professional that has the ability to make a tremendous positive impact in someone's life. No, the smallest check I've delivered, the largest check I've delivered. Nobody has ever sent it back.
Mm-hmm.
So get the BS of, we don't need this. We don't want to talk about this. We would never consider paying off our debts early. That's BS. Get that crap out of your mind and realize that you are a licensed professional that is able to help somebody. My dad, when he got diagnosed with cancer, his thought with the oncologist was not, I'll hear you out. Because it's not my dad doing the doctor a favor. It's the doctor saying, all right, Frank, this is what we're going to do to try to keep you alive.
Mm-hmm.
We are that doctor. When the bad days happen, because it's not an if. Everybody we know, everybody on this call, everyone reading this, watching this, whatever, you have known someone that's had a heart attack, a stroke, a cancer, a car wreck, lost a job, had a spouse die, gotten divorced, had a child born. If those things right there, anyone watching this, I promise you checked one of those boxes. When those days happen, we're the ones that make sure you're able to keep moving forward financially while you deal with your grief, while you focus on healing, while you find the next job, we're the ones that do that. And I don't care what anybody says, that's a powerful, powerful, powerful thing that we're able to do for others. That's what you could be able to do for yourselves. That's what you could be able to do for the people you love, your clients, etc. And hopefully you start with yourself and then the people you love, and then move on to the leads. If you're doing it for the right reason, that is what you're doing. That's all I got.
Well said, Patrick. If whether you're single or not, if you love your mistress, and I'm not saying physical mistress, I'm talking about your debtor more than your actual spouse, then there's something wrong with that. You need to reach out to Jessica, reach out to myself to get in contact with Patrick, to be able to cut that mistress out of your life, right, Jessica? It's like, hey, let's remove the, it's like, hey, we're going to go in and remove the cancer. That's the cancer right there, and be able to keep that successful marriage going on. Jessica, I can't wait to have you back on one-on-one. You're going to do phenomenal in this business. You're probably going to get to vice president, senior vice president, probably marketing director. You connect so well with people. If people want to reach out who are at that, it's in widths of where they currently are, they don't have the training of where they currently are, like you were. How can someone get a hold of you to want to work with you? They mesh with you and they want to come and learn what you're doing, whether it's via advanced markets and referring business to Patrick, or just going out and doing basic life insurance for clients.
I mean, easiest way is to just text me or call me. If you text me, you can let me know when you're available. I'll give you a call back. You can call me, and if I can't answer because I'm on an appointment, I always call back people in between my appointments at the end of my day. My phone number, can I give it on here?
Absolutely.
My phone number is 623-322-8487. Again, that was 623-322-8487. My name's Jessica Farrell. I am in Arizona, so I am Mountain Standard Time. But feel free, please reach out. You can email me as well. My email is Falkor, FALKOR, financial, LLC @gmail.com. But I'm super personable. Just give me a call and let's talk and let's figure things out. I've also got a virtual office, just like the Zoom room here, where I can meet with people, face to face and be able to help them in any way that they need. So don't be afraid to reach out. I'm happy to help.
Yes, please reach out to Jessica if you're definitely frustrated where you are and you got into this business for a reason. Don't forget your why. Reach out. There's definitely a lot better out there. You just got to be able to find it. Don't give up hope. So, guys, thank you, Jessica, Patrick. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Cornerstone Conversations. Feel free, people, to go to YouTube, like, share, comment, subscribe, doohickey, ring the bell. Doesn't matter, whatever it is on YouTube, the Cornerstone Group Life. Again, we are on Instagram at the Cornerstone Group _. And if people still use it, I don't know if people still use it. Maybe I'm old. We're on Facebook. You look us up on Facebook, the Cornerstone Group. Find us anywhere of where you guys go. Guys, thank you guys again for joining us on this episode of Cornerstone Conversations.